Hi, I'm Scott Tibbs from Roland Corporation, and I'm pleased to be able to introduce to you the Synth Legends Volume 1 sound library for the Jupiter 80 and the Jupiter 50. And what's unique about this is we've taken extreme detail in emulating the preset sounds of 7 of Roland's classic synthesizers from the 80s: the Jupiter 8, the Jupiter 6, the Juno 106, the Juno 60, SH101, TB303, and the D50. And we've organized them in very, very unique ways and very useful ways. First, it starts with the tone level. At the tone level, we have 123 super realistic emulations of the basic preset sounds. And then we were able to layer these tones and layer them up to 4 levels and put them in a live set. So think of the value of that. You could have a live set that has a Jupiter 8, a Jupiter 6, a Juno 106, and a TB303 all being able to play simultaneously with all of the extra added features like the effects and some of the offsets that you can apply from the modern technology of the Jupiter 80. Now with the supernatural synth sound engine inside the Jupiter 80, we can do a lot of amazing things with these sounds. How they're organized here in the Jupiter 80 is that we have them separated into groups. So we have the first 2 groups are essentially a best of. The first group is a best of sounds that are you can play across the entire keyboard. For instance, I have this one pad up here. And if you want to look at that real quickly, you can see that I have a sound that has 3 Juno 60s and actually 4 Juno 60s in the lower part, and the upper part, and 4 more Juno 60s in the lower. So it's very, very cool how we have this organized. So we have some very, very cool pads, of course, great leads. Super great brass. And that's just in the best of. And also there's a lot of arpeggiation patterns. There's 294 different arpeggiation patterns, and they're specifically detailed for each of these sounds and the groups that these sounds are in. So for instance, I have a very unique category called roughs. And what roughs are is that they're kind of a little bit of aggressive in nature. And they're designed to sort of outline the harmonies of your song. For instance, something like this. Here's another one. And of course, you can tweak the sound as you go very easily. Another good one is a category that I call Shorties. And Shorties are, again, like the roughs, but they're just a little bit less aggressive, maybe for different types of songs. But you can see how they would work. Again, very, very useful stuff. Now there's many different types of groups and in this collection, and what they consist of is pads, basses, chords. I call the chord category. The reason I call them the chords is because you can use them in very, very repetitive sort of Euro type of harmonic movement. Very quick movement like that. Of course, the Shorties, the roughs, poly keys, very similar to pads, but have a different quality in the sound. There's also all kinds of leads, and another category that I call others, which is very unique. And this is it doesn't really fit in the other categories, but what's very cool about this is that it's a little bit more abstract in nature, and they have a lot of different types of applications. For instance, they all have arpeggiators patterns as well. So you can see a little bit how the others, where they fit into your electronic music composition. There's also bells, brass, strings, and I also have a category that's just the originals, the original sound of those vintage instruments here, so you can actually hear what they sounded like. However, they're a little bit enhanced because we have the capability to add some effects, which on a lot of those older instruments we really didn't have reverbs and things like that. So for instance, if you wanted to play this original Jupiter 8 sound, you can very easily, and you can hear exactly what the original sounded like. Here's another one that's a bass sound, one of those Jupiter 8 plucked or slapback basses. Very, very useful. So it's organized very, very comprehensive, and also it just makes sense. So again, with all of these all of the whole entire library is based on the foundation of the preset sounds of the original vintage instruments. So from there we can go all kinds of places with not only the timbre of the sound, but just the flexibility and the bigness, the smallness of the sound. We can go anywhere we want. And this is just the first volume in many to come. So we're very, very happy that we have this new Synth Legends Volume 1 series. Okay, let's listen to a few sounds and how they work in a typical project. So for instance, I'm going to play for you a TB303 sound. Very typical arpeggiation there. Now, let's go in and edit the effects. Add some compression. Little modulation delay. Chorus. Amp simulation. Okay, you get it. Now I'm going to play the same pattern and with the drum machine, and you'll see exactly how it sounds with a typical drum beat. Now let's take a listen to the SH-101. Okay, now here's the granddaddy of them all, the Jupiter 8. And here's the D50. The Juno 106, nice brass. Strings, Juno 106 strings. Here's an example of how the Shorties work. Okay, here's some of the basses. Here's the pads category. Now these go from distorted to silky smooth. Here's an example of the roughs category. Okay, here's the chords category. First I'll play you how each chord live set sounds. And here's a bass sound. And here's how it would be used in a typical application. So this was just a real quick look at the Synth Legends Volume 1 library for the Jupiter 80 and Jupiter 50. If you have any other questions on this particular project or any other Roland product, feel free to contact your Sweetwater sales engineers and they'll be able to help you with anything you need. Thanks a lot.